Look, there's a lot that goes into this. This is an extremely difficult list to make. There is not a chance I could make this list and have everyone be like, yeah, you nailed it, good job. It just doesn't work like that. So I'm sorry, there's a more than likely chance that at some point during this list, you're gonna be like, hey, I totally disagree with that. And that's okay. My mind has changed so many times throughout the years, and I am not dead set on this being my definitive list. Things were changing left and right, and this is just what I landed on at the final hour. This will be a 3-part video. In this section, we will go over the 5 players I have just outside of my top 10 in the 15 to 11 spots. This section was by far the hardest part for me to come up with. My top 5 was easy. My top 10 was a little bit trickier, but I had a good idea of where people would land. But my top 15, yeah, I have no idea. But that's part of the reason I love this. There is no definitive list. You could have 5 completely different people in these places and have equally as good of an argument. Now, the way that I rank these players is a combination of their actual performance on the show and their general ability as a player to perform on any given season. Out of these 5 players today, 4 of them have glaring holes in their game that stop them from reaching the top 10. So without further ado, I think it's time I stop messing around and count down the top 15 players in Big Brother history.
Bro, I went through this season like it was nothing. This season was easier for me than the last one.
Starting out this list, we get the player with probably the biggest glaring holes out of anyone in the top 15. At the number 15 spot, I have Enzo Palumbo. Enzo has played Big Brother 2 times. In Big Brother 12, Enzo placed 3rd, and in Big Brother 22, Enzo placed 2nd. And over his 2 seasons, Enzo won a total of 2 HOHs and 2 POVs. Physically, Enzo is not great at competitions. Strategically, he's adept, but too often he plays for his alliance as opposed to playing for himself. But I'll be damned if Enzo is not the single greatest social player of all time. Everyone wants to work with Enzo, and nobody ever wants to target him. It doesn't matter who you are, your age, your background, or anything at all. Enzo will effortlessly connect with you and make you feel like you're on the ins with him. This type of social magic is likely part of the reason why Enzo was in 2 of the most successful alliances of all time, and it helped Enzo to not be nominated for the entire season in All-Stars 2. Many may forget, but for the first half of Big Brother 22, Enzo was not only positioned better than Cody, but he is the only person who would have stayed if he were sitting next to Cody on the block together, and he actually had a real shot of beating Cody in the final 2 at that point. Enzo has had so much social capital in both of his seasons. However, his fatal flaw has always been that he never capitalizes on it. He makes these ridiculous bonds with people, but he never pulls the trigger to make that bigger move with all of that ammo, and it's the reason why he has never been able to close the deal in either of his seasons. Even still, Enzo is the type of player that could come back a 3rd time and make it just as far, if not further, and with a few tweaks to his endgame, he could very well become a Big Brother winner. So even with his glaring holes, it's enough to place him in the top 15.
My strategy is none of your friggin' business. Hit it, touch it, rub it, love it, taste it. Okay, Howie? Just wanted to let you know that I'm not your daddy or there's nothing, you know what I mean? Look at this, baby. Papa got the bling bling. Reagan could cry. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but swallow it. Right here. It's my time now. Now the meow meow starts to play.
Yeah, 1 POV. Yeah. Best social game ever in the history of Big Brother. Enzo, I'm sorry, man. I have to evict you.
You're not. There's no winner on this season is winning it with me in it. Yeah. There's no way, yo. Let's go! That's it, right here. New HOH, right here. 10 years I waited for this opportunity. I don't care who is in this house. I'm coming after everybody. I want blood all over me, yo. If you don't like this face, it don't matter, because I'm here till the end. I'm here to win this thing. This is my fate. I mean, I was in a spot in this house where I did not have to win anything. And this guy kept saying, bro, you're in a good spot again. So, I mean, I think I played awesome, bro. I mean, 10 years later, never on the block. This is it. This is my first time on the block, man. And I won some competitions. Let's sprinkle that on a little bit.
Enzo, you always make me laugh. Thank you.
Up next, we have one of the toughest players to rank due to the fact that their game was so hindered by a twist that we never got to see their full potential as a game player. So at the number 14 spot, I have Eric Stein. Eric played Big Brother just once on Big Brother 8 where he placed 5th, and he managed to win just 1 power of veto. Eric was not the most physically gifted player, but Eric thrived in the social and strategic game. Early on in the game, he was able to form a very strong and solid power structure around himself, so much so that in week 5, Dick and Danielle tried to backdoor Eric, but he managed to barely survive it by rallying up his numbers to send Kale home over him in a vote of 4-3. Through the first 16 seasons of Big Brother, this was the only time that a player was able to survive a legitimate backdoor attempt, and that is extremely impressive. What's even more impressive is that immediately after Dick and Danielle tried to backdoor him, Eric repositioned himself in the house and made a core alliance with them, the people who just tried to backdoor him, and he was then sitting pretty for weeks to come. Eric typically always knew the correct strategic decision to make at every point in the game, but that leads us to the main thing about Eric and why it's so hard to rank him. Eric was the main twist of Big Brother 8, and he was named America's Player. Basically, this meant that all season long, Eric was a puppet to the viewers, and for a very surface level explanation of what this meant, all of Eric's moves were driven by America. Eric had to target whoever America wanted gone, and Eric had to vote out whoever America chose to evict. So even with this hurdle of not being able to play his own game, Eric navigated playing America's game as well as anyone could given the circumstances, but it ended up being his downfall, because as much as America liked Eric, it seemed that they liked the Donatos more. So Eric was basically forced to play for them to win. Eric knew at the final 7 that he had to turn on Dick and Danielle before they turned on him, and he even won the veto that week, but he was unable to use the veto to send one of them home due to being America's Player, and eventually the Donatos got the upper hand and sent home Eric in 5th place. Had Eric been able to play his own game, Eric is very likely the winner of Big Brother 8, but even still, the potential behind Eric as a player is enough for him to land at the number 14 spot.
I'm Eric, and no one's ever played this game like me before.
Making Kale and Eric the winners of this HOH competition.
There is no way in hell I wanted to be one of the last 2 people standing there. I don't want to go anywhere near a head of household. So it looks like I'm going to be America's Player. Welcome to reality TV's first alliance of 10 million. I got the brains, I got the cutthroat skills. We're going to have some fun. We're going to bring it home, America.
I might be, but I'm not a liar. You're the liar.
I most certainly aren't. You got one thing right in this conversation.
No, 2, liar.
Oh, so?
With all of that said, I'm sorry, but Eric, I choose to nominate you.
It's a desperation move. They're trying to bury the player that they think is the best player and the biggest threat to them. It's gonna blow up in their face. Dick and Danielle, they are buried dead in this game.
Eric, you are safe. Kale, you've been evicted from the Big Brother house.
That is correct. Congratulations, Eric. You have won the power of veto.
Woo! That's it.
Welcome to the veto competitions, baby! Woo! They say to expect the unexpected, and that is why I am choosing to not use the power of veto this week.
By a vote of 2-0, Eric, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
I feel like I played the best game I could possibly play under the circumstances. I had obstacles that nobody else had to deal with in this house. It's the way it is. It was my job to honor America's wishes. Unfortunately for myself, I did a great job in doing it, and they were pulling for the people that sent me out of this house.
Following Eric, we have the one player on this list who doesn't really have any holes in their game, and he's just a really solid Big Brother player. If I strictly look at their Big Brother game, they probably don't actually crack the top 15, but their performance on another show made me more confident in them as a player overall. So at the number 13 spot, I have Hayden Moss. Hayden played Big Brother just once, where he was crowned the winner of Big Brother 12, and during his tenure inside the house, he managed to win 4 HOHs and 1 veto. When it comes to facets of the game, Hayden is good at pretty much all of them. Physically, he was great, socially, he was very solid, and strategically, he was actually quite good. In week 1, he nominated both Brendan and Rachel, but in week 2, when Rachel won HOH, Hayden managed to slide on by and he wasn't targeted. Although he was nominated a few times, he always had safety nets like Kristen in place that would end up taking taking the bullet over him, which allowed him to survive eviction night twice, even though he was arguably the bigger threat to win both times. Maybe not against Reagan, but still, having all 3 possible voters at the final 5 voting to keep you is very impressive. Obviously, Hayden was helped by being part of the brigade, but after the first few weeks, Hayden eventually became the driving force of their success. Hayden knew when the right time to turn on that was. He entered the final 3 in a spot where both other players were going to take him to the final 2, and he beats them both. And throughout the season, even when things didn't go his way, mainly in regards to Brendan and Rachel winning a massive amount of competitions, Hayden was able to navigate through the rough waters pretty flawlessly, and he still managed to put himself into an endgame scenario where he was the odds-on favorite to win. Although we never got to see Hayden fight from the bottom on Big Brother, we did get to see it on Survivor. Here is your 1-second warning about Survivor spoilers. Okay, without going too in depth on what happened, basically it was the final 6 of Survivor, and Hayden walked into Tribal Council down in numbers 4-2 and was about to get voted out. But in his last-ditch effort, he managed to not only flip one of the numbers on the other side over to his side, but convinced her so well that she willingly put herself in a spot where she had a 1 in 3 chance of instantly being voted out while also leaving Hayden completely immune. For the Big Brother equivalent, imagine if at the double eviction of Big Brother 24, when Michael was about to be headed out the door, that during his eviction speech, Michael was not only able to convince Alyssa to flip her vote, but to then go a step further and have her take Michael's seat in the eviction chairs and leave it up to a 1 in 3 random chance that she would be evicted instead while Michael is left completely immune. Needless to say, it was a really impressive survival move. Overall, Hayden's solid stats in all areas of the game, plus him showing he has the capability to pull a rabbit out of a hat Dan Giesling style, is enough to put Hayden in the top 15.
I'm the most competitive person you'll ever meet. And I'm not gonna lie, the ladies love me. That's what's gonna take me far in this game. I won the HOH week 1. It's bittersweet. I got a big target on my back, huge. Everything was going perfectly. I had the brigade in my back pocket, Kristen wrapped around my finger, and Captain Kosher, he ruined my entire game. Now I'm gonna have to work my freaking tail off just to stay around for another week. You're full of dude.
Why? Because you're so smart, Kristen.
Yeah,
I have a fashion degree.
Yeah.
And you are, because you have a chemistry degree. String a sentence together without using the word like, will you? You have 0 common sense. 0.
Oh, I have no common sense.
0.
2 HOHs.
Kristen, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. Reagan, you've been evicted from the Big Brother house.
I'm the HOH. 1 in 3 shot at $500,000. So we're going out. I control the nominations. I control the veto meeting. Who goes with me to the final 3?
250, which means congratulations, Hayden. You are the final.
Dude, were you gonna evict? I would say our social game's almost similar. Neither one of us were ever a target. We both had our secret alliance. We both had our side alliances, about equivalent in terms of the social game. What separated me is the competitions.
That wasn't the question, but you let it slip on in there, Hayden. And the winner of Big Brother is... Congratulations, Hayden. You are the winner of Big Brother.
Now, I really went back and forth on whether I should place this player higher or lower than Hayden, but in the end, I decided to give her the leg up. At the number 12 spot, I have Jun Song. Jun played on 1 season of Big Brother where she was crowned the winner of Big Brother 4, and she managed to win 1 HOH and 1 veto. Jun wasn't a comp beast, but she definitely wasn't bad, and she could have won more had she not thrown some of the comps. When it comes to the other aspects of her game, the biggest red flag of Jun as a player was that socially, the jurors just did not like her, and she likely would lose in the end to most of the players on her season. However, Jun absolutely knocked it out of the park when it came to the strategy, and Jun is without a doubt one of the greatest strategic minds of classic Big Brother. One key thing about Jun is that she was fantastic at thinking outside of the box. She volunteered to be the house cook, not only in the hopes of having her cooking be an enticing reason to keep her around, but also so that she had an excuse to be in the kitchen all the time without looking suspicious, allowing her to watch where certain conversations were being held while also improving her odds of being in the right place at the right time. Jun was the first to perfect the floating strategy, where instead of having a rock-solid alliance that she was forever loyal to, she would go to whoever had the power and buddy up with them to ensure that she was never going to be the HOH's target. Jun was also the only player to fully take advantage of having their ex in the game. While most of the other exes floundered and failed to work together, Jun and G realized the benefits that would come from secretly working together, and it tremendously helped both of their games. One of Jun's flaws in the game was that she wasn't exactly the most liked in the house. However, Jun recognized this and formed her entire endgame around it. She knew that she wasn't going to win in many scenarios of the final two, but the one that she would win would be against Allison, who was also not liked by the other house guests. So Jun teamed up with Allison to make it happen, and from there on out, it was lights out. Jun had some solid endgame moments, winning the Final 5 HOH and finally taking out her ex G, or the classic moment of Jun successfully outthrowing the final HOH to Allison, a somewhat risky move that paid off as it forced Allison to vote out Robert in third place and lose his jury vote. Jun defined what it meant to be a floater during Big Brother 4, and she used that to help make it to the end, where she was able to beat Allison in a vote of 6-1. And do you dock Jun points for being disliked by most of the jurors and therefore losing in most final two scenarios? Or do you give her props for recognizing her position, figuring out her one path to the victory, and then flawlessly executing her plan, resulting in the win? Given her ranking, I'm assuming you can figure out which of those two groups I fall into.
I'm Jun, and you're gonna love me as much as I do. I don't date Asian men. I only date Caucasian males.
We were first loves, and that kind of makes me sick right now, but anyway. I'm not gonna make any kind of suggestions to Nathan.
Damn, you look so hot.
I for sure 100% without a doubt know that Jun will go with whichever road I choose to take from this point on.
I think for the most part Dana trusts me, but we're not friends. This is a game, and I'm going to use whoever I need to get to the end. The queen of the Big Brother house would probably be me. I think everyone loves me, and they should love me. I make them laugh and I feed them.
Jun for sure is the master wizard in the kitchen.
I don't think anyone is thinking that G and I have any sort of alliance.
You just have to keep being careful.
The alliance I have with G is probably the strongest one I have in the house. We've kind of played along that we don't like each other. And it's because sincerely there is this underlying disdain for each other. Right now, Allison and I, although I hate to admit it, are playing pretty similar strategies.
Jun is floating. She likes to jump from side to side by week to week by HOH to HOH. And that's not cool because that's my track.
I mean, hell would freeze over first, but maybe even Allison and I will become a pair.
I'm sorry, Erica, time is up. This means congratulations, Jun. You are the new head of household for the first time this season.
I'm not gonna come after you.
Jun and I still do have a secret alliance. I just look at her as kind of a tool to get further in this game.
Oh, the alliance with G is broken.
I think my alliance with Allison will take me to the end. I would love to go up against Allison because I know she has many enemies, both inside and outside the house.
Answers, please. Okay. Jun, obvious winner in this one is Allison. Congratulations.
It's our house. It's our house.
It's our house. Like, coming in here, you knew you were going to be up here, didn't you?
What, in the finals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jun. By a vote of 6-1, you are the winner of Big Brother 4. Congratulations to you both.
And now, the final player. The player that lands just outside the top 10, but in a more optimistic viewpoint, the best player in this video at the number 11 spot, I have Maggie Ausburn. Maggie played on one season of Big Brother where she was crowned the winner of Big Brother 6 and she won 1 HOH and 1 veto. What makes Maggie's win so impressive is that she was the cult leader that actually managed to win the game. Maggie was an excellent strategic thinker and she took hold of her alliance like nobody really had before. After her secret partner Eric left in week 3, there were 2 clear sides of the house, and whichever side took the numbers advantage by the jury stage would have the overall say in who won the game. Right before the jury stage was to start, Howie, a member of the opposing alliance, won the HOH, but it took Maggie merely an hour to talk with Howie and convince him to target James and Sarah, two members of his own alliance. Not only was this one of the best persuasive moves ever made up to that point, but with this move, it set things in motion that allowed the friendship to have the numbers advantage heading into jury, where they then had the say in who would win the game. And with Maggie as the leader, it meant that if Maggie was sitting in the final two chairs, she was likely gonna win the whole thing. Maggie was able to tactically instill fear into her own alliance by having everyone agree that they would never vote for someone that betrayed the alliance to win, and this kept them in line and really spoke to Maggie's ability to lead an alliance in a cult-like way. Now, there are a couple of glaring holes in her game. For starters, she was ready to go home for Cappy in week 3. And while yes, that is a huge red flag, this was someone that she came into the game with, and that's a giant element of the game that is typically never present in Big Brother. Secondly, Maggie was one final HOH double tiebreaker away from losing the game. Had Janelle beaten Yvette in the final HOH, Maggie does get evicted in 3rd place. However, the fact that she had such fear and loyalty instilled into Yvette to the point that Yvette felt the need to go out of her way to win the final HOH so that she could bring Maggie to the end speaks major volumes, especially considering that had Yvette thrown the final HOH, there's a good chance that Yvette ends up being the winner of Big Brother 6. Maggie's ability to have a stranglehold on her own alliance while also being towards the bottom of the opposing alliance's hit list is an extremely impressive feat. She's still to this day the only US winner to not make it to part 3 of the final HOH and still win the game, and to me, she is one of the most impressive one-time players of all time, so she lands at the number 11 spot.
I'm Maggie, and the other house guests are gonna need a nurse when I get done with them. Play like you're gonna stay.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, but I think you win.
Have I been wrong yet in this game?
By a vote of 5 to 4, Eric, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. Congratulations, Maggie. You are the new head of household.
I was gonna carry it out the way. I'm gonna do exactly what Cappy wants.
Maggie and I are now playing for Eric.
James came in to apologize, so I let him apologize.
Won't know what that other person is contemplating.
What do you do for a living?
Because what if it's the same thing as me? Oh my God, wouldn't that be ironic?
You're a nurse, aren't you?
Am I?
She had that room set up like a perfect interrogation room. She had herself at a raised position. She had me at a lower level. I couldn't read crap on her.
Do I need to be worried?
About what?
About me. But I can't trust anything in this game. I don't have a partner.
The goal of this week is to ensure that no one from the friendship gets nominated.
You give me your word that they are going out.
And Sarah's and James's keys will be the two that are not in the box.
Okay.
The friendship would have looked very poorly on Howie for not putting up James and Sarah.
I choose to use it on Maggie. I think I'm gonna vomit. Guys, I'm so sorry I was taken off the block. It's not your fault. Because I don't want to put someone else through what's going on right now.
I really don't think she would. April is very loose with information. I'm sure Janelle was not calling her up there for fashion advice. I have not made any deals with anyone outside of the friendship in this entire game.
Congratulations, Yvette. You are the final head of household. Join Yvette and Janelle in the living room.
In me. You so believed.
I think I made it this far in the game because of the loyalty I had to a certain amount of people, and I never crossed over that loyalty. And a little bit of it was not opening my mouth, even when it was extremely tempting.
You think that Maggie tried to get everybody to do her dirty work?
Yeah.
Maggie did get everyone to do her dirty work. That's why you guys are sitting here.
Right.
Psychologically, she had you guys beat.
I think Maggie possessed all the qualities. She bonded your group. I think she played a phenomenal game.
Congratulations, Maggie. You are the winner of Big Brother 6.
Enzo, Eric, Hayden, Jun, Maggie. Those are the first 5 players in my top 15. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but maybe I don't really care. Just kidding. I am interested in hearing differences in your player rankings. I likely value certain qualities higher than you may and vice versa, and that's okay. Without that community variance, these best player rankings would be so boring. So please, feel free to leave your rankings in the comments if you so choose. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to tune in Thursday for part 2 where I go over the 10 to 6 spots. Special thank you to my YouTube members who would overflow my top 15 list if they ever played Big Brother. And as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
Enzo, you're up first.
Oh my God, this is crazy, man. This is it, yo. This is it. This is it, man. This guy gets it. He won all the competitions. He did everything. He was a beast, yo. I'm so happy that he did it. I'm so happy, man. And, they're laughing at. He was so proud of me the last time I played this game, but he was very upset that I gave Hayden the vote because he knocked me out.